Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, I have a complaint. Immediately I have a complaint, all right? Guy at Super Cheap Auto sold me the wrong paint, all right? The wrong paint. Now, it wasn't the repair we did on the bumper. That's just fine. The problem is the paint on this diffuser. Look, I went into the store. I said, look, I need a nice, bright, shiny gloss black for my diffuser. And he sold me this one, which is a trim and bumper paint. Now, I should have looked a little closer at it. I had said that I wanted a shiny black, and I assumed that he was giving me that. And I looked at the lid, it looks kind of shiny. So I went away, and lo and behold, it is the black, that bumper black that you get on bumper bars and whatnot. It's not the nice shiny black I was going for. So I went back in the store today, and I said, hey man, I wanted a shiny black, like this one. It's a gloss black. So he said, oh, that's not gonna work. It's gonna fade. You know, you can only paint your diffuser with this paint. And I said, hang on a second, what about if I prime it and I clear coat it? No, he said, no, it's gonna fade. Look, this guy's already sold me the wrong product, so I'm, at this point, not listening to any of his advice. And I made the point, I said, well, what about color-coded bumpers? Which is essentially what these are. I mean, what we're doing here is, this is the same material, this is plastic. No, you can't do it, he said. And so I just sort of thought, well, I'm just going to assume this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because frankly, he doesn't. You can get a nice shiny black onto the diffuser part, or even a bumper if you want. Clear coat it and away you go. So that's what we're going to do today. Enough about my rant, but it still cost me, I don't know, $18 or something for the can. And by the way, I had to pull all this off and paint it and put it back on. That took several hours, so you can see why I didn't want to listen to this guy ever again. So I'm going to pull this off again. I'm going to show you how to do it this time. It's pretty straightforward. I think it makes a big difference if you got a nice big shiny piece of plastic down the bottom like that, like this diffuser. Across here, of course, I've wrapped that. That's wrapped in a matte black. And but I wanted this one shiny to kind of go with the wheels. I've got a gloss black on the wheels. So that's our mission. Let's get cracking. So like I said, I've already had this off. I had it off the other day, painted it, and realized immediately that that paint was not going to do the trick. It was always just going to be a kind of a gunmetal gray charcoal black. I want it nice and shiny black. It's going to look cool. I've seen it done before, and I want it on this car. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out a whole bunch of these little clips. They're a bit of a pain in the neck, I'll be honest with you. But what I would use is, or what I'm going to use, is a pair of pliers. Now, you're probably thinking, why are you putting tape on your pliers? Well, these pliers are quite sharp metallic pliers, and anytime you sort of squeeze down on plastic where you can damage the plastic, just put scrape marks in it, and I don't like the look of that. So even on these clips, we're just going to use a little bit of tape to soften the edge of the metal. I do this all the time. Wondering why I use pliers? Well, I'm an electrician. This is the tool that I basically go to do almost everything. Pliers and screwdrivers, and a set of long nose. These are well worth having in your toolkit. Long nose and pliers. Okay, got to get down there, pull off a bunch of clips. Man, you got no idea. I tell you, when somebody else gives you bad advice and you don't sort of question it, and you end up, it costs me hours of my time. I'm more angry at myself that I didn't just go with my instinct and get the paint that I suspected was the right one. But you know, you listen to some people sometimes and it costs you time and money, and yeah, that's frustrating. Let's get into it. So the first place we need to get to is up under here. You'll see the bottom of the diffuser has these sort of button style clips that run pretty well. There's a couple in there as well, just inside of here. But these clips are the ones that we're going to tackle. And then inside of here, there's also a bunch of other clips. Oh my gosh, that dog's barking is unbelievable. Okay, so the trick with these little button clips, you'll find that one edge of them has a little flat surface. Just want to work your screwdriver, there it is, up under there. Just open that up a little bit. And then we're gonna just grab our pliers and feed the pliers in under the gap we've just made. Like so. And then we're just gonna pop it out like that. I've found that to be the easiest way to do it. Now this part, you just pull down on that section there. Okay, so this is our diffuser. It's a bit dirty. I've driven around with it for a couple of days, been raining, so it's picked up a bit of rubbish. So I'll give it a clean down, hit it with a high pressure hose maybe even, and clean all the rubbish out of it, because we're just gonna spray it again. Incidentally, there's a couple of inserts here, little cat's eye reflectors, so there's a screw in there to keep those locked in place, and a clip there. So we'll take those out, so it's a nice neat job. Look, you can see the new black that we're going to be putting on this will be this really nice gloss black. This is just not a, it's almost like a matte actually. It's like a matte black. I mean, you know, in the right application it would look fine, but I want a shiny black. It's going to really stand out on this car. Look, if I had wanted it that color, I didn't want it that color. So, but then unfortunately I'm going to want to clear coat it, and I need to drive around for a day or two without having this on. I may just put a couple of clips into this and drive it around for a couple of days, and then I'm going to take it off again and we'll clear coat it. I know I'm harping on about it, but I don't know what this bloke was talking about, that you can't paint a diffuser black. I mean, seriously. Don't get me started again. Look out,
Can we get passport?
Not to get vaccinated. That's your choice.
I have followed the Prime Minister's lead and introduced...
So I've got the old hairdryer out. It's not a heat gun, it is a hairdryer. Whoa! Scared the hell out of me, I'm sorry. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
This is Luke. What's happening, Luke?
Nothing?
Did you come to say hello to Molly?
Yeah.
You know she's gonna bite you.
No, I'm talking about the other one.
The other one, you wanna go and see her? You can go inside. Help yourself. Okay. Honestly, that high pressure hose, there's nothing left standing after that. So just gonna give this a bit of a wipe down, and then I'll get the hairdryer in on those spots on the inside there. They'll just take ages to dry unless it's sitting in the sun, and now it's getting on dark. So I want to get this done tonight and done once and for all, seriously. I'm only going to paint that bottom side. No point painting the top side, you're never going to see it. That's just raw plastic. I've had my paint sitting in a cup of hot water for about 5 or 10 minutes now. Just getting it nice and warm. It's night time now, so I couldn't very well warm the paint up in the sun. So yeah, we've just gone with a cup of hot water. Just give that a bit of a mix around, and that'll flow beautifully. If it's cold, you'll find that your paint will just come out in big splotchy, droplets, and we want a nice fine mist to get a really even coverage. So this has been dried off and cleaned and prepared, and I think we're about to see the difference between a gloss paint and just a bumper dark grey, gunmetal grey paint. Anyway. Just going to speed up the drying time with a hairdryer. I only want it to skin off, and then I'll do another coat. So you can see that it's looking a bit stripy, but that's because I've only done a couple of thin, light coats. So the more paint we put on there, that stripiness will disappear. And once we do that clear coat over the top, it'll really bring it to life. A little bit more paint. Make sure my can doesn't have any water droplets. If those droplets flick up onto our surface, we're gonna end up with, imperfections, and there's nothing more frustrating. Okay. So it's a couple of days later, and I've had to drive around with the diffuser back on the car because, well, I needed the car, but I didn't want to do my clear coat, you know, until a couple of days later. There's a reason for that. Look, with clear coats, I find when you spray them on, you know, they shrink and they can create this kind of dry riverbed effect on your paint. It's the last thing you want. It's not smooth, tons of cracks. Best thing to do is to leave it for 48 hours. There's a few schools of thought on that, but I genuinely think the best finish is to do your base coat paint, wait a couple of days, chuck your clear coat on, take this off again, couple of coats of clear, let it dry, wet and dry it, polish it up with some nice compound, and well, we'll be done. Hopefully this will be nice and shiny like I've been wanting. So I've had the bar sitting out in the sun for about 30 minutes, nice and warm. Of course, it's picked up a bit of fluff on the way too, which is annoying, but nonetheless, giving it a wipe down, some wax and grease remover, and now I'm going to give it a nice couple of coats with my acrylic clear coat. This has been in the sun for probably an hour, so it's nice and warm. Don't mind the birds in the background. I swear I live in a place there's just unbelievable number of birds. So just a couple of really nice light coats. Going to bring out that shine. Nice and shiny. The trick is a lot of fine coats rather than one big thick heavy one or two. I'd normally go over this about 4 or 5 times till I feel like it's really thick, and I'm able then to give it a buff, and it'll really bring it to life. It's easy to want to apply too much in one area. You can risk getting what they call runs. Runs are where the paint just congeals so much that it starts literally running down whatever you're working on, and well, once you've got those, it's very hard to sort of reverse it, and well, it's just not worth your while, you know, being impatient, because as soon as you get runs, it just makes the whole job look pretty amateurish. Well, that's starting to bring out the shine, which was the whole idea. What you find with clear coat, doesn't matter what clear coat it is, you'll put that on, but it will never be good enough just to leave as is, unless you want kind of a matte finish. The fact that the surface isn't super smooth, it's going to diffuse the light and it will give you that kind of satin finish. If you want it to be really glossy, really shiny, you're still going to have to work that surface with your 2000 grit wet and dry sandpaper, and then probably just get in with a nice pad and some compound. So just giving that a bit of a dryer for the old hair dryer. I'll leave that for a day now until, you know, that's nice and cured. It skins off really quickly, this stuff, so it's almost touch dry within 10 minutes, but it's definitely not ready to sand and buff at this point. So I'll leave that until tomorrow, and then bring it back in, and then I'll start to do a bit of buffing on it.